it's interesting what, in terms of what your partnerships are. Well, how does your partnerships actually come about? Like, do you guys go out and approach the partners itself, or do they come to you? I mean, in your case, you're a water company. Then, like, how did you go out and say, okay, I'll go after travel and tourism, or did they approach you first?
So we're not a natural fit, as I said, to necessarily adventure travel. That wouldn't be the first thing we thought about. We thought about fitness chains and public pools, and we thought about many other places where there was a big water waste. So it was a search for us, and even though we can sell this and you can save a lot of money just on the water bill and energy bill, that wasn't the focus for like the big hotel chains to start with. They had a different priority on their budgets. But the minute we started talking about sustainability and green consciousness and the likes of that, we got approached by a lot of boutique hotels, smaller, unique hotels that could use this not only in the marketing, but for their end users to actually appreciate this, and that's why they select this. So it was not planned, but it became an obvious match over time.
And Wilde, how about your partnerships? I mean, do you go out and, as a production company, I mean, do you go out and pitch all the time, or do you have destinations or tour operators coming to you to sort of work with you?
I think with the smartphone technology nowadays, everybody somehow can find you, or you can find them. And what I did not say when I was doing my presentation, because I was too nervous and I forgot to say it, right? I totally believe that nowadays, content is the media, right? Someone will remember a sunset from Maldives and they want to go there. It was a movie that I watched, right, 20-something years ago that a director talked about going to Bora Bora. I never heard of that word, Bora Bora, before. And after that movie, Bora Bora is one destination that I want to go before I kick the bucket. Okay, and I traveled to foreigners, and because of a movie called A Room with a View, and I check into a cheap hotel and look for a place that they might have set the tripod of that movie, shooting the river with the sun setting and the golden reflection shining from the water surface. And with a bit of luck, I find this hotel along the river, and I pay, at that time, 6,000 lira for one night. And I totally believe that was the spot that they put the camera and shoot that scene. And I asked the Italian manager, was this the place that they set the tripod? You know what he said? Maybe, maybe not. Okay? And that answer, I'm happy. I was happy to just put in my heart, that must be the place. I mean, you know, we are, for 40 hours, we want to tell stories, a lot of stories. With that stories, people get registered and love a place, right? Breakfast at Tiffany, you know, make you want to go to New York and find out where the Tiffany is on the 5th Avenue, blah, 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 right? Where Marlon Brando have the Italian dinner, right? In New York, and things like this. Because there are thousands and millions of places, right? All screaming to say, hey, come to our place. Our place is the best. But this is my second time joining this kind of conference. A lot of cases, people are just bean counters, say, we have waterfall, we have blah, 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 and come to our place. When you look at 10 destination sort of promotions, you started to get muddled up, right? My daughter was in a Blue Lagoon. I Iceland, which Norway also put a picture there. And I was there half a year ago. I saw Blue Lagoon. Wow, it's man-made, but it's beautiful. But not until I heard the story that within 40 minutes, every single drop of the water that's surrounding me will be gone. And then let me thought of my life, right? And my life will be gone soon, mine as well. Nowadays, this moment, I enjoy the Blue Lagoon. So when I knew that she was going to Iceland, I said, forget about waterfall, forget about the glacier. You must go to the Blue Lagoon, because in 40 minutes, every single drop of water will be new water. This is the kind of emotional or philosophical association with one place. But I'm pretty sure that Blue Lagoon is going to stick in my heart, just like Bora Bora and the river along the Florence, right? It works that way. This is my idea of, I want to tell more stories of the world.
Oh, right, so it seems we got some questions here. A lot of them about actually the Pashtel. I don't know if Simon can answer them. So the first one is, well, most votes is from Karma. What will be the cost of setting up one room with one container in the wilderness in terms of USD? How do you deal with the waste and sewage? Can you answer that?
Yeah, there's a number of very relevant questions. So the first one is the cost. There are different models, clearly. The traditional model is that Pashtel takes security in the land. So there's no cash pay up front. But if you take security in the land, they finance the setup of the Pashtel. Then there's a service fee to that, and then you start selling this as suggested in the movie over Airbnb, but you also have your own distribution and sales network where you can sell that, and then you basically split 50-50 between Pashtel and the landowner, minus some service fees aligned to that. So there is no upfront investment, which is why I suggested this as a service, even to the landowner. So how long does it take to put a pop-up on the container? So it's a prefabricated design container. And then it's about the lead time of when you order it and when you get it there. Clearly, there need to be, so it's a very short time. Everything is prepared beforehand, and then you need to figure out how you place it, and you need to be able to have it at a steady level and all that. So there is some, but you don't dig into the ground that you would normally do, and you don't have big development work contained to this. So I can't say if it takes 1 week or if it takes 3 weeks, but it's in that realm.
I guess the question here is, have you ever installed a Pashtel in the deserts? What are the challenges with that?
And what is the challenge to be truly off-grid? So the Pashtels have what they call the fifth element, which is a separate container, which has the water and energy sources into that container that serves the Pashtels. So you have a separate container with water, energy that serves that, and also takes the waste from the other parts. On the energy side, they're equipped with solar panels and humidifiers from the air to produce new water. It's not going to be at the same rate, but with our technology included there, you waste less anyhow. So that gives that balance as well. And I saw another, so I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, a lot of it's about.
And there is also a little bit about how can you do this with certifications and according to local governments. So certifications are made usually, but these are all unique to a local area, right? Or to local government regulations. But most regulations and certifications are based on urban and on-grid technologies. So it is a little bit of a gray zone where you say, okay, you're not on-grid and you're not interfering. So let's say you waste water. When you talk about wastewater, for example, you're afraid of wasting water into a system where other people could get ill from that water. So this is a closed loop, so it doesn't really apply to that, but you need to have a permit to build on your premises either way.
Okay. Well, let's actually jump down to Michael's question here, because Michael seems to be curious to hear Wilde's thoughts on orbital systems. How does that fit in with your Kung Fu approach and philosophy?
In fact, I do have a piece of land on an island called Plenary Island off coast of Vancouver. It's between Vancouver Island and the mainland Vancouver. And this is a question that right after this presentation I will be asking you, because it had been sitting there for 10 years and doing nothing. You know, yeah. If you tell me that all you need is 4 weeks, I can wait, right? And how long do you think it will last?
It will last.
Yeah.
So there's no limitation to that.
Right.
I mean, there is a natural limitation to any other building, but
I think
we are
living in a very, very lucky era, because with technology and everything. I'm not an engineer, I'm not a technical guy, but I want to know more about the possibility of being creative, being interesting and different, right? The example that I raised about building along the highways in China with containers, and it's not just one single unit, it's a more organized, edited versions of a franchisee, yeah. Right? And that kind of things that needs a bit of a crazy person like myself, maybe, right? To think of the possibility of how to combine 2, 3, 4 ideas together to make it work. I mean, we'll be visiting north here, right? And I read the brochures and everything. All the art that we are going to see, right, is now traveling to this part of the world. And that's a partnership itself. And it needs somebody creative enough to put them together. And when I saw the ideas of the moving stars, I mean, once again, you're borrowing the sun, right, that you did not produce, right? You produced that filtering system to create the stars on the floor. I mean, how can I use your ideas? There will be thousands of opportunities. But how we make it not just being practical, but also appealing, both also being entertaining. This is all traveling business is all about. We are in the fun business, so we might as well make it fun for